Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
I'm Nick Kinsel.
And today we're with Keegan Leahy. He's the driver of the number 32 Denny Hamlin Racing Toyota Camry in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Keegan, we'd like to thank you for joining the Stock Car Spectacle. How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. Just had my dinner, so I'm happy.
All right.
Nice.
So first and foremost, how are you and how is your family? Are you guys staying safe during the quarantine?
Yep, we're good. Most of my family's actually in like rural areas, so they don't spend too much time around people to begin with. My mom's
good.
working from home, so like she doesn't have to make her commute into the city. And I'm in Halifax, so right in the middle of the city, but I don't have to go out too much. Do a lot of my working from home, a lot of the iRacing stuff, and schools mostly from home as well too. So
Okay, nice.
yeah, it's pretty good for me. How about you guys?
Yeah, we're just we're really bored right now. It sucks that we can't be in our studio because our studio is a whole lot cooler than looking at the backdrops of our rooms right now. But
Right.
yeah, we're hanging in there.
Yeah, so hey, with everything going on right now, obviously you're gonna have a bunch of free time on your hands, Keegan. So what have you been up to in your quarantine time?
Yep. So I do still have to finish up my schooling, so that's
Okay.
that's got to be first and foremost. But yeah, I'm going to graduate in a few weeks actually. So
Nice.
it's been a long time coming, and I'm so excited to. Well, my plan at least is to devote most of my time to iRacing.
Okay.
After school's done. So, the career that I want to go for, I can kind of jump in whenever I want. So, I'm riding this wave while we have it going and gonna try it out.
So
Very
what
nice.
career are you going for in school right now?
So I'm doing like a physics degree. It's just it's a bachelor level degree, but
Okay.
I also have like a diploma in meteorology. It's called. So I'm going for meteorology.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. I want to be an operational forecaster for the government. So, yeah, that's what they take. That's the best course of action, and there's some actual meteorologists taught us too. So, yeah, it's gonna be really cool when I get into it. But first,
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
We're trying sim racing first.
Okay, so now talking a little bit about iRacing. How long have you been on iRacing for?
Yeah, I started in 2013. I came from Forza, so it was quite a jump. Like I thought I was awesome, right? I don't know if you guys want to swear on this, but I was the crap on Forza, so I thought. Um, and yeah, I wasn't a very good sim racer. I realized once I got onto iRacing, and it took me a long time to figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure out how to race people, figure out how to drive fast, figure out how to not burn tires off. It took a while, and it took me till 2018. That was my first time. What was then the Peak Antifreeze series, and yeah, we're in the Coke series now.
Okay.
Nice.
So why did you want to start iRacing?
Well, I was probably gonna stick around in Forza. Like I had no interest in iRacing at the time, but when the new Xbox was coming out, I realized my wheel wasn't going to be supported anymore, and I didn't want to buy a new wheel. But I had a decent gaming computer, so I was like, I wonder if there's any alternatives. So I looked up PC racing games and came across this simulator iRacing, which was amazing. I watched some YouTube videos. Rutgers Kevin O'Keefe. I don't know if you guys know of him, but he was he still is pretty popular, but he was really popular back then and uploaded all of his races online. And I watched some of those and I was like, holy crap, guys, this is awesome. Like,
Yeah,
I gotta
right.
get into this. I love NASCAR. I love simulation racing. I gotta do this. So that's what kind of got me interested.
Hell yeah, man.
Awesome, yeah. So Keegan, it's cool to hear that's how you started, even watching some videos and stuff like that. And now you're to the point where you actually do some coaching of your own. So what's that been like for you?
Yeah, I also started around 2018 with the coaching, pretty much right when I got into the Coca-Cola series. Virtual Racing School contacted me and got me on board. And so I do what's called data packs, which is
Okay.
I record telemetry, upload it to our website, and then the website allows you to easily see my driving inputs. And I also like upload videos and stuff too, as like a tutorial video and also like onboard videos. So
Okay.
it's a bunch of like benchmarking tools, right, for people to try to improve.
Right.
Is like that's all I wanted when I was first starting to improve. I would like send messages to all the pro drivers and ask them, "Hey, can I see your replay? Can I see your replay? Can you send me a
Right.
telemetry file? I want to see what you're doing." And nobody would, right? Only like a couple would.
Yeah.
Taylor Hurst was a guy that helped me a lot, actually.
Oh, that's
If
awesome.
you heard of him, but he, yeah. So I couldn't ask him every week for
Yeah.
telemetry and stuff, but that's what virtual racing school is for. Every week you can have a benchmark.
Okay, so do you have a NASCAR driver who like inspires you? I know you drive for Denny Hamlin in the series, but is he the one who inspires you, or?
Can you see that pillow on the?
It looks like a Jeff Gordon pillow. All
That's
right.
a Jeff Gordon pillow. I got a giant
Nice.
flag in the background too. You can't see that one. But yeah, Jeff Gordon was always my favorite when I was growing up. I don't know why. I was 3 years old when I picked him, but I was such a big NASCAR fan when I was little, and like I picked Jeff Gordon as my driver, and like as he won, I became more and more interested in the series, and like I don't know, NASCAR and Jeff Gordon were kind of synonymous to me when I was a
Right.
kid, right? And his success became
Yeah.
my success. It felt like, right? So
Yeah.
like you'll never feel that way about a driver again. It's kind of hard.
Right.
He retired, so. But that's all right. I cheer for Denny Hamlin now, of course.
Yeah, for good reason too.
Yep.
Yeah, so how is it driving for Denny Hamlin?
It's crazy. Like, when he contacted me, when back in December, it was like right after Christmas or right before Christmas or something, and he said, "Hey, I want you to drive for me." I was like, "Oh, awesome. Are you the Denny Hamlin? Is that who's contacting me right now?" Because like I expected, someone to send their secretaries or whatever, or their
Yeah.
representatives to message me, and no, it was him. And we had a phone call later in the evening, and he told me how interested he was in the series and how much he wanted to be involved, and he was just doing it for fun. So it's kind of not really a humbling experience, more of a I don't know. I don't know the word for it, but it's really cool being at that personal level with Denny Hamlin, and he treats me as his equal. I can treat him as his equal, as my equal. And we're just friends talking and doing
Yeah.
a partnership together. It's
Yeah, it must
cool.
have been a pretty cool experience this past Sunday when you were his spotter for the Pro Invitational Series,
Yeah.
weren't you?
Yeah.
It must have been. How was that?
A bit nerve-wracking because it kind of set in halfway through how much this race mattered. Like you guys saw how much
Yeah.
social media stuff there was
Right.
afterwards, and
Oh,
everyone.
yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. But halfway through, like I just kind of treated it as a for fun race. Like I wasn't racing; I'm just having fun doing this, right?
Right.
And then I kind of said, I'm like, this is a big deal, and a lot of people are watching. And that coincidentally was about the same time I made a mistake. So he was leading. We had a little bit worse tires than other people, but we also didn't have enough fuel to make it to the end, and it was about 70 laps to go, and you can do about 67 laps on fuel. So I brought him down pit road, and I kind of realized as he was coming down pit road, he would have needed to save another lap or two to be able to make it to the end. Plus, with all these wrecks and cautions and stuff, like
Yeah.
it doesn't really
He
help.
probably would have made it. Yeah.
Yeah, he would have made it, or he would have ended up getting in a wreck, which is what did happen. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I sent him back in the bee's nest, right? And he kind of got killed a couple of times. So anyway, somehow stuff worked out. I made some really aggressive calls like the whole time. I don't know if this is if this is what he wanted to do, but the way I was calling the race, I was going for the win. Like, it was like when I'm doing a Coca-Cola Series race, everything I'm doing is pretty defensive. I'm just trying to stay in the top 5. I want to get points, right? But I called that race for Denny completely different. It's all about winning the race.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
just for fun.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And if you fall back to 5th or something, like it's really difficult to win. So I was just doing everything I was doing, like 2 tires here, stay out here, pit now, to be off sequence from the leaders, that type of stuff. Everything was designed to give him every chance to get up front. And
Right.
it wasn't working out for a while, but the very last caution, we made the right call, And he
Yeah.
drove up through the field.
Yeah,
drove
he
like
charged. He
yeah.
he almost came out of nowhere, but that was super cool with all the money that he wound up donating after winning it. So
Yeah,
yeah. That's a nice thing to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him plus like 3 other people matched it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was the best thing to see from the whole weekend, that happening, and just the exposure for iRacing and the community as a whole has got to be amazing for you guys and everything.
Yeah, definitely. So, how about you guys? Did you guys watch the race live?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, it was
What
really
did-
entertaining.
What did you guys think of it? Like as it was happening, were you like, "Well, this is kind of weird," or "This is amazing," or "This is better than I thought"? Like, what
I'm
do you guys
used
think?
to watching the iRacing races, and I've seen. I think the championship race was on NBC Sports, I believe, right?
Yep, yeah, it was.
Yeah, I watched that, and I've been watching. I watched when you won at Daytona, and I thought that was really cool. So it was awesome to see all the Cup guys in there and a few of the Xfinity guys in there. It was cool to see guys like Timmy Hill run up for the lead. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's the thing I thought was incredible, because you had so many guys that you're used to seeing run up front on Sundays or in actual racing really struggling. Like Jimmy Johnson looked like a fish out of water. Kyle Busch didn't look like what he normally looks like in a Cup car on a Sunday. But then you saw guys that you wouldn't really expect. Like I said, like Timmy Hill was up there. It was really cool to see guys like that really excel, and just to kind of see the field look a whole different than what you would normally see on a Sunday.
Right. And it's not to say they drove badly. Like Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson, they don't sim race, right?
Right.
Right.
And they jumped in and did well. Like Kyle was only, a tenth off. It shows up, right? When all these
Yeah.
drivers are amazing, if you're a tenth off, you fall to the back, right? So
Right.
yeah, that's kind of what happened with Kyle. Jimmy was another tenth or two off, maybe. But like, imagine if someone new to sim racing just jumped in. How would
Oh,
they do
God.
that
Oh,
race,
yeah.
right? Like brand new, like didn't race at all. These guys are awesome drivers, and the fact that they can jump in and do that well with so little practice is crazy.
Right.
And then you see people like Denny Hamlin who haven't done much sim racing in years and years jump on, do a lot of practice. I mean, a lot of practice,
Yeah.
and get on pace. And honestly, I'm doing a bit of practice with him right now for Texas. I'm not faster than him. Like I don't even know what to teach him right now because there's nothing to teach. He's like on pace. Like he's doing great. So I think it's going to be mostly about just doing
Yeah.
some battling. Make sure he's not going to burn off the tires on the long run, and he'll be
Yeah.
set for another win next weekend, I think.
Well,
Yeah,
you
my
hit the
thing-
nail on the head. That's one of the things I thought was really cool too. You talk about seeing, the different drivers and all that. It's like you couldn't see this kind of stuff in other sports too. Just to have the guys jump in and just be that competitive. Like you said, it's just a testament to how good these guys really are.
Right. Yeah, it's like it's so close, right? It's like it's the exact same movements,
Right.
exact same visuals, similar audio, like the simulations, right? So the physics are really close. It's just you don't have the exact same feel because you don't have the G forces and stuff. You've heard it from millions of people,
Yeah.
I'm sure, but it's true. It's different inputs. Like these guys drive off their butts more than their hands probably. So feeling
Right.
it in their seat. So it's a challenge for some of these guys to get into it, and within a week be on pace. So they can do it. It'll just take a bit of time.
Yeah.
So
Overall,
have you stepped into a real race car?
I've only driven go-karts, but I got a little bit of a plan. I'm hoping some of these travel restrictions get lifted because I was planning on doing something at the end of May, test a late model. So
Oh, really?
we'll
Cool.
see. I haven't talked about that yet. I don't want to say who it is or anything because it might not happen, especially with this coronavirus stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to, and I'm sure I will. And I'm sure I will be just as much of a fish out of water as Jimmy Johnson was in some race.
okay. So, do you have any tips for people who are starting iRacing and they want to rank up? Like, what are your tips for them? What would your tips for them be?
It depends on what your goal is, right? So do you want to just race for fun and race cleanly? Then, seat time's really important. Just do a lot of laps by yourself. Make sure you can do 20, 30, 50 green flag or solo laps in a row without hitting the wall or without getting loose and deviating from your line, right? So do that before you get into a real race. But if you're going for the top level, just expect to have to put a lot of time in.
Oh,
Right.
And I'm talking thousands of hours, right? This is like
yeah, it's crazy.
being a master at guitar, or learning to ride a unicycle or something like that. It takes a
Yeah.
long time to get really good at it. And you'll have moments where it clicks, and
Mhm.
you'll pick up a 10th, and you'll feel like you're on top of the world. And then there's always somebody faster than you, and I'm still there. So I don't know. Just don't be discouraged. Have realistic goals and have fun, I guess. Because
Yeah, because
that's
I could tell you from my first time jumping on the simulator, I looked like Jimmy Johnson. I was a fish out of the water. I think I spun out coming out of the pits at least 5 or 6 times when I was first trying to get it. But yeah, it's
Me
a
too.
lot of fun.
Well,
Yeah,
So-
like I got a racing rig, and I've been doing it for like maybe a year or two now, and I'm only in the D class because I have a lot of trouble getting around the guys who really don't know how to drive yet, and it's difficult.
you know what? You know how to get away from them? You start first and you stay there.
Yeah, right.
So,
Now there's a good point. Yeah. Now there's a tip, Ian.
Yeah, right.
So
no, there's always stuff you can do to improve too. So I never blame other people for well, I mean individual wrecks, sure I can blame people, but if I get
Right.
stuck and if I don't I was one spot out of my pro qualifier in 2016. So I was trying to qualify for the 2017 Coca-Cola series,
yeah.
missed it by one spot. I had a bunch of wrecks, ran into other people's problems, but if I was in first and stayed there, I would have had no problem.
Right.
That's a good
So
way to look at it.
I realized that I got better. The next year I got third instead of 24th. So,
Right.
it's all your mindset.
Yeah. Well, hey, Keegan, you just touched on something we wanted to kind of ask you about too. So obviously, Coca-Cola's jumped on board with iRacing with the top series with NASCAR now. So what's that meant for you guys? How awesome has that been to have such a big sponsor on board this year?
Right. It's like, it's a huge validation because just the fact that a company like that is interested and willing to invest in a series like this kind of gives the series intrinsic value, right? Like
Right.
it looks like it's a big deal, and it makes it a big deal. So yeah, that's really cool. I have no idea what how much money they're paying or anything like that. iRacing was going to put up the same prize pool anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Coca-Cola is actually putting in, but that investment too kind of future proofs our sport. So
Oh, yeah.
like we'll be here next year, we'll be here the year
Oh, yeah.
after. That was the biggest thing. It made me more excited for 2021, not necessarily 2020.
Right. Of course.
I got my Coca-Cola drinking right now, knowing that we were talking to
I'm
a
waiting
Coca-Cola
on-
Series driver.
I'm waiting on a package. I'm supposed to have a bunch of Coca-Cola merchandise here. I can't do the advertising, but
Yeah, right.
yeah, I'm waiting on that. I don't even have
Yeah.
a bottle of Coke in my house right now.
All right,
hey-
so Keegan, what has been your favorite track that you've run on iRacing? Like, what's your favorite and what's like your best track?
Favorite track's Nürburgring.
Nice.
Also, probably my worst track too, but that's not the point. I just love driving it. Yeah, I'll just pick the most difficult car to drive or the fastest car to drive and just rip around that track and have fun. I tried to do some Porsche races when they were doing the Pro Series qualifier for the Road Series, and I was comparing to my teammates' times on Coanda Sim Sport, and I was like 4 seconds off for a lap, which it sounds like a lot. It's not that much, but it just feels like it's impossible to catch up when you're 4 seconds off of somebody and you feel like
Yeah.
you drove the track perfectly. So, I'm not the best at that track. Now, my best track, I don't know what my best track is, honestly. Like, it used to be Bristol, and now that's my worst. And then I thought it might be Atlanta. Now that's one of my worst. It's whatever one you practice the most for. I'd say Homestead right now because that was the last one we went to.
Right. So, what would be your most memorable win in the iRacing iRacing?
Well, I remember most of the big ones, but let's kind of give you a weird answer because it wasn't any of my Coke Series wins, which I have 5, I think. Lost count. Yeah, so Daytona was pretty awesome a few weeks ago,
Oh,
but my most memorable win was B Open race in the Xfinity car at Bristol back in 2015 or something. I don't know. It was the first first televised, or not televised, first broadcast race that was on YouTube.
Okay.
And I think I don't even remember who was commentating that one. I could probably find it online. I'll probably have to look that up later. But yeah, Be Open. It was when I was like 3,000 iRating or 4,000 iRating or something. Just finally getting it up there. Able to make top split. I barely got into top split, and I was fast. And I was running down these pro drivers. I remember I was racing Ryan Lowe most of the race, who was
Okay.
really, really fast at the time. He was putting a lot of work in, and he was a DWC driver at the time. And I ran him down with 10 laps to go or something. I was on his bumper a whole bunch, right on him, and trying to make moves, and I couldn't. It's a top lane track, so it's really difficult to get around people. And I guess I did something a little bit different from what I would do now. I hit him, moved him out of the way, and he wrecked into the tire wall. He went in the barrels at the end of pit road and was pretty peeved off at me. But I wanted. I was like the 30th car in iRating, and that was my first broadcasted race, and I was so happy.
That's awesome.
That's what I remember.
So we talked about most memorable win. What would you say your most memorable defeat would be? Would it be last year's championship race with Zach
You
Note?
gotta bring that up.
I just want to know, like, what.
About that.
I just wanted to know, like, what your emotions were, because that was such a tight battle at the end. That was really good racing, though.
Yeah.
Right. I thought back on it, like, it's hard to like have a full analysis of it as it's happening, right? You don't know what you want to do. Like, should I hit him? Should I not? Should I, throttle it up and kind of bump him up the track a little bit? Or, you can't really plan that out. You just kind of do what's natural to you. And yeah, that corner, I was saying to myself, all right, if I get alongside him, I'll bump him a little bit. I'm not going to wreck him. I'm not going to wreck us. But I'll bump him up a little bit and see if I can get the win. But I just never quite got to him, right? I got to his quarter panel, and I got to his door, and he throttled up, and we both came up the track. I didn't leave an inch, right? And he was like, I left an inch to him, and he was an inch off the wall.
Yeah.
He didn't make a mistake, and if I hit him, he would have got sideways, and he would have wrecked. I might have wrecked, and that's not how I'm gonna win it. It's not really good for anyone. So.
Yeah, I agree.
It's worth the extra. I don't know. It would have been another $20,000, I guess. That's good, but I'm trying to make a career out of this, and I'm trying to have a good reputation for virtual racing school. Trying to be marketable for people. Get someone like Denny Hamlin to get me on his team, which happened. So these kind of things, you got to think about that, and reckon someone for the win for an extra bit of money. I don't know. I'd stand by that decision anytime, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think especially thinking about the long game of your career, probably the better move overall.
Yep.
Yeah. So would you say that
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think most people would not hit him, though. I think I'm one of the few. Like, there would have been fireworks and drama if it was pretty much any other two guys on the grid, I would guess. Yeah, there's some clean guys, but I don't know. I've been called the Mark Martin of the Coke series after that. So
yeah, but you know what? Even at that though, you made him drive perfect those last couple laps because, like you said, he drives an inch up the track. He's in the fence, and then you run away with it. So it's not like you really hand him either. He had to be perfect to win anyway. So yeah,
I went right to the limit and gave him every opportunity to make his mistake, and he never did. So
yeah,
he earned it.
There's some honor in that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Would you say that he's probably your fiercest competitor right now?
Zach? I would love to have another battle for the win with him, yeah. He's like the one guy I would like to have a last lap battle for the win with, but I'm not going to do anything different. Like, we're going to have another clean battle, I think. Right now, the fiercest guy, like, you see it in most of these races. It's always, if I'm up front, Ryan loses up there with me. So it's him every time. That dude's so fast. Whenever he's got a car under him, he's a threat to win. So, he's the guy I'm trying to beat every race. Also, my two teammates, we're not going to be battling fiercely or anything. We work together. And by teammate, I mean the guys we are working with behind the scenes to prepare for the cars. And that would be Bobby Zelensky and Chris Shearburn are my two guys.
Okay.
So we race each other cleanly, but we want to beat each other. And there's a bit of bragging rights there because we're on the same setups usually, or pretty close. So, and we have the same preparation and all the resources to be as fast as possible. So whoever wins did the best that week. So, that's my direct competition, I guess.
Okay. So, well, hey, as you know, with everything going on with the coronavirus, NASCAR's not been on the air, and iRacing, I mean, you're getting members left and right. I mean, what do they have, 5,000 new members? What was it? So, some ridiculous stat I think I saw a couple days ago.
Yeah, I was looking at the there's a spreadsheet I look at. Somebody tracks all the new member sign-ups, and yeah, last week there was it was like 4,700 new members in 1 week. Normally it's like 1,000, if that.
Yeah.
So it's a huge jump.
Yeah, that's
we'll
crazy.
see it again this week too, probably.
So yeah, two-part question for you on that. Number one, what's that meant to you guys that have been with the iRacing community for a while now? And number two, you got a lot of newbies kind of coming into iRacing. What would you kind of recommend to them for like a quick, easy setup to get into iRacing as far as the tech goes?
Right. So,
I'm sure you get that one quite a bit, right?
Yeah. My answer to that first question will kind of lead into the second one because I'm gonna say the biggest thing about all this extra exposure and all these new members is there's gonna be more competition for us at the top, right? There's gonna be people really going for this. They see the value in being in this top series, and hey, it's really fun too. To be a part of this, and all of a sudden this year, I'm talking with Denny Hamlin, and also I'm working with Kurt Busch this week. Maybe another NASCAR driver, getting them prepared for this race coming up. It's like all of a sudden I have all these ins, and like I'm in the middle of it all. It just happens so quick, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's I don't know. I don't even know how to explain that, but it's it's pretty cool. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing with this influx of new interest. But yeah, any new guy looking to get involved, it depends on your budget, of course. But make sure you have a decent gaming computer. So you want to have something that your video card should cost $500 or more. Okay, that's if you don't know video cards, if you don't know what all the numbers are and all that stuff, like what's a 1070 GTX and all this stuff, make sure it costs $500. It'll run iRacing.
Okay.
And besides that, the rest of the computer, you're gonna wind up wanting to spend about $1,200 or so to run iRacing well. If you want a single monitor, that's okay. That's not the best, but it's good entry. Triple monitors is for the hardcore guys like most of us do. But if you're just getting into iRacing and you haven't done much sim racing before, go for VR. VR is awesome. It's way more intuitive to use.
Okay.
And it's cheaper too. It's cheaper than having 3 monitors, and you can see all around you. So way more immersive, way more fun. And I think it's better for learning too, because it's more intuitive and more like real life, because you have the 3D and you can look around.
Okay.
Right.
Wow. I never even thought about that actually.
Yeah,
Wow.
VR is the way to go if you're just getting into it. And then wheel and pedals, Logitech G29. You can't go wrong with that. I'm using a virtual racing school prototype of the Direct Force Pro. Direct Force Pro.
Okay.
That's coming out in a month. It's a little bit on the higher end, but it's what's called a direct drive wheel, which is way stronger than like a Logitech wheel that you would get, and it lets you run accurate force feedback. Like it's as strong as it would be in real life, and you really feel it. And I'm sore after races after all the force feedbacks jolt me around and stuff. So, but yeah, Logitech if you're just trying to go for an entry level stuff, or go for a direct drive wheel like the Direct Force Pro.
Okay.
If you want to go high end.
Okay, so like one last thing about the Pro Invitational Series. So after all this coronavirus stuff kind of like settles down, we get back to real racing. Do you think that the Pro Invitational Series will continue, or would you like to see it continue, or what do you think?
I heard it will. People are talking about it being like a more of an exhibition thing. So either off season or maybe during. I don't think they'd run it during off weeks of the season, but yeah, maybe we'll have like 3 or 4 races a year or something like that. That would be really cool. We don't want to beat it to death and make all these drivers race every week,
Right.
sim racing and in real life or something. But maybe our Coca-Cola series will fill in that gap while the real life guys are actually driving real cars.
Okay.
Right. So what does it mean? Final question: what does it mean to have these I races up on Fox Sports and NBC Sports, and you're having almost 1 million people watching these?
There's going to be more next week. I think it's supposed to be on the big boy network, right?
Yeah,
Fox.
yeah, Fox.
So it's crazy. For reasons I've already said, like it's going to be the whole influx of new users and new interest will be amazing. It increases the value of our series too, because there's going to be more viewers. People are interested now. They want to watch our race. Like, what do the top level, the pros do? Like, how do those races look like? So people are going to be tuning in. Our race is on Tuesday at Bristol coming up. So that's going to be an amazing race.
Oh,
Tune
can't
in.
wait for that.
And I have no idea how many people are going to be watching that, but I expect it to be pretty big. It's only on streaming. It's going to be on Twitch and YouTube, but I think it's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, but hey, we'll be watching you, man, and we'll be cheering you on.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem. So we'd like to thank you very much taking time out of your day to talk with us on the Stock Car Spectacle.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Keegan.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you very
anytime.
much.
Yep. Let me know if you want me on again.
Yeah,
All right,
definitely.
sounds
Thank you
good.
very much.